Okay, so I'm behind somebody's house, and I'm gonna have to be very quiet so I don't get caught. It's not like I'm not allowed to be here, but you know. Oh shit. Alright, I gotta be quiet because I'm behind somebody's house right now, and I'm not trying to get caught. It's not like I'm not supposed to be here, but I don't know. I just kind of like remaining underneath the radar, if you know what I'm saying. Let's just get this over with. All right, so check it out. Right now, I'm basically in like kind of like the agricultural orchard area, somewhere in eastern Visalia, and I came across this ephemeral ditch, and as I walked up on it, there was a lot of activity going on, and I'm about to get closer to it and biologize it for a little bit. So this is like a man-made channel, and you can kind of tell it's man-made because you see how straight it is. Usually like natural stream systems and river systems are what you call sinuous, meaning they flow, you know, back and forth, left and right, because they've been flowing there for a long time, and that's just naturally what flowing water does over land. What you see here in front of you, these puddles, is just the residuals that are left over from that flooding. So this channel was basically built to kind of relieve flooding from major river systems. So instead of it flooding people's houses, it goes through these channels and goes out some other way back into the main river system or whatever that may be, or into a reservoir or whatever. All right, so you can see even from here, you know, looking at the surface of this puddle, there's a lot of stuff going on down there. And I'm gonna let you know right now that the stuff that's living in these puddles is not gonna be, you know, the cute cuddly things that you're thinking of. More or less, they're gonna be organisms that are probably representative of things in your nightmares. Okay, so I just so happen to have my trusty dip net here. Oh, see, I don't know if you heard or saw that, but something just jumped in that puddle. Hopefully we can get one of those later too. But anyway, so yeah, I got my dip net right here, and we're about to dip this net in there and see what the dominant life form living in this puddle is. Here we go. Oh, see, you heard that again? All right, here we go. Just gonna give it a few swipes. I'm gonna be picking up a bunch of veg too, but that's fine. That's fine. Let's see what we got. All right, let's bang it over here on the banks. Oh, clear, ew. Ewy, yuck. It's kind of our backdrop right there. All right, now my other tool that I need are these right here. These little soft forceps. These are soft metal, so you know we don't bust open or break any of the individual organisms that we're trying to look at. It's not like we care about them, but here we go. Start off with the bright one first. Put that right there. Let's dig through this some more. Get one of these. All right, I think that's about it. So as far as species diversity in this crab, there ain't really much in here. But that's okay, because when it comes to like feeding guild, or at least like life stage history, there is at least a slight tinge of diversity. All right, but first, but first I want to say that the example of organisms that I have right here are very indicative of the quality of water that these things live in, and that is really, really shitty water. Basically, like, this water is probably like kind of like the over runoff from like some sort of agricultural field, whether it be like the orchards out here, but honestly most likely the cow pastures and stuff like that. So there's probably like the residuals of all the cow feces up in this water, and that makes the water pretty bad quality, but not bad quality for the stuff that's living in it obviously right now. So let me put on this macro lens and then we'll look into them. All right, starting from left to right, that red squiggly worm looking thing right there, that is a fly larva in the order Diptera, in the family Chironomidae or Chironomidae. Oh, these flies flying in my face. And otherwise known as midges. All right, and there are many different species of midges that have different biological niches or ecological roles wherever they may be found. This one right here in particular, I'm not sure what the genus or species is. I know a couple people who I could ask, but I'm not sure what the species is. But what I can tell is that the red coloration right there probably has something to do with the amount of hemoglobin that's found inside this organism. As you might know, if you know anything about biology, hemoglobin is the protein structure that's responsible for binding oxygen. And this water system that we just grabbed this from, very low oxygen. But yeah, I don't know if you could tell. So the part that's wiggling around, that's the head portion right there. And they just kind of like squirm around. They have a little proleg that's underneath their face. I'm pretty sure I can't get close enough for you to see it. But yeah, that proleg is, it kind of looks like a microphone right up next to his mouth. And that's what he uses to kind of grab and manipulate food sources, whatever it's eating. Probably whatever, like fungus particles, bacteria particles, or even, you know, detritus, like, you know, the dead leaves and everything decaying in this puddle. This one right here, so this one right here, this one that's just kind of pulsing and convulsing. This right here is another larvae in the order Diptera, the order of flies. However, this one is in the family Culicidae, which is the notorious family of mosquitoes. And this is what the larvae looks like. And this one probably looks like it's one of the later instar larvae, getting ready to pupate and eventually form into an adult. And yeah, that's right, Diptera, the flies Diptera, they're actually more related to butterflies and moths than they would be, let's say, I don't know, crickets and grasshoppers and stuff like that, because they have what's called a full metamorphosis or complete metamorphosis. So they have a larval stage, which is what you see right here, and then they have a pupal stage, which I'll get to next, and then they have a adult stage, which I'll get to after that. Okay, right here, this one right here that's flicking itself around, that's the pupal stage of a mosquito. Now this might be a different species than this one right here, but they basically, this is like the cocoon. Let me move this Chironomidae out the way. This is like the cocoon or the chrysalis of a fly, essentially. And that's when it's getting ready. So on the inside there, just like a caterpillar would break down its body and then form the new body of a butterfly, the exact same thing is happening in this fly right here, in this mosquito. So you can even see, like on the inside, its eyes, even the legs and the wing portions forming. And then when it's finally ready to hatch out of that, or ready to molt out of this pupal stage, it becomes, boom, right there. Those bastards. So this one probably just emerged from its pupal stage. So that is mosquito. I cannot tell you what species it is. I gotta put it under the microscope. But ain't it crazy? Ain't it crazy? To me, it's just amazing how, like, you get something like this out of something like that. It's the same species, and they occupy two different feeding guilds, two different ecological roles in one species, essentially. You go from these things right here that are just eating detritus to those which are staying dormant, and then these which are like sucking on mammal blood and invertebrate blood. See, it's got the mouth parts right there. It's freaking crazy intricate mouth parts. I heard when they bite things, they can actually like move that mouth part around like it's a straw, trying to find the right capillaries to get the most blood cells, because that's what it eats. It eats red blood cells. Anyway, yeah, Culicidae, Diptera, all on this one leaf. Let's see if we can find some other stuff. All right, we're gonna get away from this puddle and go on to the next one, because I saw some action over there. Yeah, you see all those bubbles going on? I wonder how deep this thing is. I wonder if I can even get them with this net, the thing that we're looking for. But hopefully we do. Oh, we got one. We got him. We got him. We got him, coach. Let's bring it over here. We got him. Here we go. Okay. Well, here it is. All right, so if any of y'all into animals at all, if any of you have lives that are filled with any sort of zoological interest, you probably know what this is. The scientific name for this is Lithobates catesbeianus. The common name of this is a North American bullfrog. And we're in California right now, where this is an introduced / invasive species, okay? So somebody from the East Coast brought these over, either by accident or on purpose, I'm not sure, to be honest. But this species has basically made itself a great living out here, taking advantage of these like ephemeral ponds and even lakes and stream banks and stuff like that. But they have recently changed, I think within the last 10 years, they recently changed the genus of this to Lithobates. It used to be Rana, but now it's Lithobates catesbeianus. This is a young one right here. This one probably not even a year old, and it's made a decent home in this ephemeral pond, in this ephemeral man-made channel, where you have this water that's just left stagnant over. But yeah, if you don't know anything about these are very voracious predators, all right? For an amphibian, And these things get massive. Like, I saw one in Orange County one time. I swear to God, it was the size of a volleyball. I'm not even exaggerating. We tried to catch it, but we just couldn't, man. It just dove under the water and swam away like it was Superman. It was nuts, I'm telling you. But yeah, this was a small one right here. This one, not even, man, this wouldn't even amount up to like a 3-year-old compared to the one that I saw. But yeah, these get huge, and they can eat small mammals, reptiles. They'll eat themselves. They'll eat birds. It's crazy. So they're not originally part of the ecology out here in California, but they basically established their presence here. I'm pretty sure there's no real means of getting rid of them. I know they hire some people to actually go out to ponds with BB guns and shoot these things, which I'm sure sounds fun. But as far as the actual, you know, effectiveness in that type of action, I kind of question it, how well that works. And you know, to be honest, I'm not even sure what actually eats these things. It might even be like the herons or the egrets or something like that. I'm sure they would pick these off if they can get close to them and everything. But as far as anything else, I mean, I don't know any. Oh yeah, fish eat them. Yeah, that's right. You know, another introduced species, the largemouth bass, Micropterus salmoides. They're definitely eating these things, but I don't know about any native fish eating these. So it's crazy, man. Like, California is, I mean, actually not just California, it's everywhere else. You're gonna have introduced an invasive species because they're gonna get around, because people get around. People are carrying them everywhere. And that's just creating a new ecology. It's creating a new ecology with a new assemblage of different species. And depending on how vigorous, on how stable those species can remain in their new environments, you know, they're going to create a brand new ecology there. And don't worry, I'm not going to kill it, because I know somebody might be sensitive out there, even though I would like to. But, you know, I'm just going to let it go. And it's going to keep doing its ecological role out here in California. Yeah, so even more things. It's in the order Anura, which is the order of frogs, right there. And you know, frogs, they're amphibians, so they have, you know, breathable skin. They can extract oxygen through their skin and water and moisture. Yeah, look at his booty hole. Anyway, so they got these nice large big legs, which are used obviously for jumping, for getting away from predators. And those legs, see those feet right there, web feet, for basically catching the water and swimming away. You got that big ass mouth right there, so they can eat things that are much larger than its head. And then you see that circle behind the eyes right there? That's a tympanum. That's basically what it uses to hear. And those big eyes, see how those big eyes could protrude over the head, over the top of the head? That's advantageous because they'll sit in the shallow water with nothing but their eyes sticking out. So if any unlucky prey item comes towards the banks of this pond or anything like that, it can snatch it up real quick. And you see its throat right there, kind of like bulging in and out and everything like that. So that's basically its muscles that it's using to breathe. So it's flexing those throat muscles, which is basically causing air to pump in and out of its lungs. Oh yeah, and get this, and I'm pretty sure that most of y'all who don't know much about frogs, frogs and toads will actually use their eyes to swallow. So those eyes are protruding out of the head. They have muscles that can suck those eyes back in, and when they do that, they push whatever food's in their mouth down their throat. So they don't have muscular esophagus like you and me. You know, like they have to use their eyes to swallow their food. If you don't believe me, you know, go ask somebody at the pet store to feed the frog, and then you see when it swallows, its eyes just go into its head. Anyway, enough about this. Lithobates, catesbeianus. Oh look, you got a little Culicid pupae on its back, just wiggling there. Yeah, Lithobates, catesbeianus, the North American bullfrog. Serious invasive species in California and the whole western U.S. Here to stay, nonetheless. I'm gonna let it go so you can see how well it jumps. Here we go. And that's that. All right, so I talked about the zoological examples that can be found in this little puddle right here, but let me just quickly talk about the plants that can be found around here. And you notice, like, it's a pretty dense, you know, riparian cover out here. You know, so like you got a lot of plants lining the banks, a pretty tall canopy here, and most of these species are native. Now I take that back. About half the species are native here, and about half of them are introduced. So this one right here, we got eucalyptus. I'm sure some of y'all have seen this before. This is eucalyptus in the family Myrtaceae, which is the family of eucalyptus, and there's a big one right there. So we got these out here. So there's even more over there. And then over here, as part of the herbaceous layer, we got this right here, which is Claytonia, otherwise known as miner's lettuce. This is actually edible, but it's a native plant. And then you got right here in the Poaceae, you got Bromus diandrus, one of the most infamous invasive grasses in all of the US. It comes from Europe. And then you got right here, this, I believe this is a native plant. This is known as bedstraw in the genus Gallium. You can see the fruits right here. So the fruits are actually somewhat convergent to the grass, to this bromus grass right here, because the bromus grass, they have these kind of like backwards facing barbs. So I'm sure if you walk through a field of grass, you have a bunch of these stuck in your pants or in the shoe and everything like that. But these will kind of do the same thing, just a different process. So these fruits, you can see right there, they have those little like spines. Those are like kind of like Velcro hooks and everything like that. So if you walk through a field of this, when the season's right, when the time's right, and this is all dry, these will also stick to your clothes. Probably worse than the grass too. Okay, folks, so as far as native trees go, right here we got this. This is Quercus lobata, aka the valley oak, in the family Fajaceae, which is the family of oaks. This is a small one right here, but there should be some big ones right here somewhere. I don't know, I don't really see it. But yeah, this is a nice native tree found all throughout the San Joaquin Valley, up into the East Bay Delta area, all throughout the San Joaquin Valley, in the central, in the center of California, essentially like that. This is one of the most common oaks that are out there. Some European starling going off right there. That was another invasive bird. It's a good bird diversity out here, actually, not gonna lie. Maybe we should take some time out and listen to them. Hold on, let's do that right now. I think we got some western kingbirds. That that was a Nuttall's woodpecker. See some mourning doves out there. Western tanager. Those European starlings, obviously. Western wood pewee. That's a kingbird. Okay, so I think I need to stop now because these adult mosquitoes are starting to come alive, and I just found a couple on me biting me, and I need to get out of here before these homeowners wake too, so you know I don't get in trouble or anything like that. But yeah, you know, for all you watching this, I hope you liked it. I'm gonna still try to come out with more videos, even though I'm not consistent at it. But you know, just keep me in mind if you're looking for something else on YouTube to watch. You know what I mean? Yeah, and hopefully by watching this, you kind of learn something about what lives in these type of ecosystems. And yes, this ephemeral pond is some sort of type of ecosystem. It's got its own ecology, and you obviously saw that with the types of organisms living in it and the types of organisms living around it, which influences the conditions. So yeah, with that being said, keep your decisions scientific. Stay away from all the gimmicks. I make a buy slice. Peace up, peace out. Go out and learn something.